Hey there, welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this full UkeGuide review of this instrument. This is the Hamano U30 Soprano Ukulele. It is one of my students at school that was brought in and just wanted to demonstrate it for you and review it while it was around. I did put on our Aquila Kids colored strings on this one. It does not come like that with the colored strings as standard. It would just come with either Aquila Nylgut strings or Aquila-like Nylgut strings if they're not using Aquila. I'm not sure if they are or not. What we'll do in this review is, first of all, we'll look at subjective categories that I do with all instruments. Then we'll go over the specifications, and then we'll wrap up with a conclusion statement and UkeGuide rating. If you want to check out a summary of this review, you can find the UkeGuide at UkeStuff.info under the UkeGuide page, and just look up the Hamano U30. It'll be there alphabetically with its full PDF one-page summary, the UkeGuide of this instrument. And if you want to support the work on this channel, there are three things you can do. You can subscribe to the channel, you can like the video, and you can always buy me a cup of coffee to say thank you for making this content at buymeacoffee.com/UkeStuff. All right, let's begin with the subjective categories. The first category is cost. These sell from basically $36 to $50 on Amazon. And I think that's the going price, depending on what color you want. Not all colors are available at all times, as we'll talk about with availability later. And you can also pick these up at other places that carry diamond head ukuleles as well. In terms of value, I think the price exceeds the value a bit because there are better ukuleles at this price point, especially once you get towards $50 that are in the market and the things that you get than what you get with the Hamano at this point. The build quality, it's made of lesser quality materials. That's pretty clear between the quality of the tuners, the clear quality of the laminate on the inside. But generally, it's put together pretty well, except for the bridge is lifting off. And then there's one loose tuner. Let's see which one it is. It's right here. And now it's actually not. There it goes. The one tuner is a little bit wiggly in there. Beyond that, and it's not, there's no screw to tighten there or anything like that. So the other ones are just fine, but just there's one loose tuner there in the bunch as well. But one of the things we do is we take a look at the inside of these instruments. So let's do that really quickly. All right, here we go inside the Hamano U30. It's the RD, which means red. There is a tail block there. There's your bridge plate. The screws are coming through on the very, very end of it, so the bridge plate is almost in the wrong spot. And you can just see it does have kerfing. It's not notch kerfing, it's straight kerfing, but there is kerfing. Some, for example, the current Kala cheaper ukuleles do not have that at all. As we look back, you just see it's fine. It's inexpensive, but it's pretty cleanly built overall. There's a tail block, there's some excess glue, lower quality laminate, but it's just fine. All right, let's take a look at the upper bout. You don't have a whole lot of room to work with, but you can see that you still have the line kerfing, you have a neck block, and a little bit of glue, but not too bad. And that's really all there is to see right now in the Hamano U30 RD that we're looking at. In terms of appearance, it's very plain. It has, a painted body with a transfer rosette on it. It's pretty plain. It's just, your standard painted ukulele. In terms of availability, not all colors are available right now on Amazon, but maybe they'll come in again. Maybe they won't. I don't know. but it is available. Models of this are available, and you can buy them new right now if you want to on Amazon. In terms of playability, it's a very standard C-shaped neck with standard 35 millimeter spacing for an import ukulele. And I was messing around with that tuner a little bit. But generally, the action is pretty close to what is acceptable. Maybe the nut could go down a hair, but action at the 12th fret is right on of what I'd be looking for. If you have large hands, you're not going to like this. If you're a person used to playing concert, you know it's a soprano, so it may not be your favorite, but it's acceptable. Playability is acceptable. If anything, yeah, again, action at the nut could be brought down a little bit. In terms of sound quality, it's a very laminate tone, but it's not horrible. It's not the world's greatest tone either. It's got some loudness to it. It's got some bite to it. If anything, it's lacking sparkle. And again, maybe if this were yours, you'd want to try fluorocarbon strings to see if you could bring out some sparkle on it. But yeah, so it's more towards the darker quality of the spectrum, which is, again, pretty typical of laminate. It's not a horrible tone, not the world's greatest tone. It's sort of right in between, perfectly acceptable for particularly a beginner instrument or something that you don't want to invest too much money in at the time. Now, one of the things I do is I let you see what I'm hearing using the app Tonal Energy Tuner. So I play the instrument into that app and let you see what's happening with the harmonic energy. So here we go. So not a whole lot of sustain there, and generally lower frequencies lasting more than higher frequencies, which is exactly what you'd expect at this price point made of this quality of laminate. All right, now that we've gone over the subjective categories, let's get into specifications. It is a soprano ukulele with a scale length of 13.625 inches from nut to saddle. It has 12 frets with 12 to the body. It does have side position markers and no front position markers on it. It is a double bout body with a laminate soundboard and laminate back and sides. The fretboard is of unknown wood because it's painted fretboard, it appears, as is the bridge, so you don't know what they are made of either. It is a tie bar bridge, and it is lifting, as perhaps you can see on that side even better. You can see that's lifting up. Because it's screwed in, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but again, it's not something you want to see. It isn't moving with, you know, as you press down on it, so that's good. But again, that could be a concern over time. But again, it's a sub $50 ukulele at that as well. It is not a radius fretboard, as you would expect. The nut and saddle appear to be plastic, and it is an uncompensated saddle. The finish is just paint, right? Red paint with a transfer rosette. The overall length is 20.375 inches and it weighs 14.2 ounces, which is pretty light. They are open geared tuners of lower quality, and one is loose at times. This one is currently not loose, it's holding, but if I turn it just a little bit, it will rattle at that point. The action at the first fret is just higher than 0.5 millimeters, so you want the nut to come down just a touch. The action of the 12th fret is 2.5 millimeters, which is just fine. It's just fine. The nut width is very close to 35, 34.78, so it's a 35 millimeter nut. And string spacing is 8.64 millimeters between each string, 28.80 G to A. So pretty standard. It's a thick C-shaped neck. From the top of the strings to the bottom of the neck, it's 21.04 millimeters. So standard thick C-shaped neck with standard 35 millimeter spacing, which will make people that buy this instrument, if you have larger hands, may not like it if you like a wider nut. The only accessory, again, is a very inexpensive gig bag, and that is something that really should be upgraded in today's era as well. All right, now that we've gone over the subjective categories and the specifications, let's summarize the instrument. Hamano is owned by Sega Music, which also owns Diamond Head, which makes ukuleles in the exact same price category, same exact clientele. I don't understand why you would have two similar items from two different brands under your same brand. I don't understand that. I would understand if Diamond Head was a step up in quality. I would understand, if Hamano was their entry level and Diamond Head was their step up, having just been in Diamond Head, on Diamond Head actually about 2 months ago. I get it with the connection to Hawaii and everything. I get it. However, it's basically the same instrument in two different ways. So I don't know why they need to do that. It's a low cost, mass produced ukulele made out of inexpensive parts, but it works as an instrument. The only two concerns I have, again, are that the bridge is lifting and that there's a rattling tuner. The gig bag should be better at this point of the game. And with all sincerity, while there's really nothing wrong with this being a first instrument or an instrument that you can buy and not have to worry about breaking or something like that, there are so many other options within $10 of the price point of this, depending on which level you buy. Like some of these are $50. If you buy a $50 version of this, which is the same instrument, just maybe a different color, you could have spent another $5 and gotten into something so much better than this. Is it functional? Yes. Does it work? Yes. Is it built pretty well? Overall, yes. But for just a little bit more money, and I mean a little bit more money, you can jump into a much, much better build for an entry-level ukulele. So I would avoid it. This would not be on my recommended list at that price point. Now, if you see one at a thrift store for $10, absolutely, give it a shot. The tuners themselves, except for the one that isn't holding in this case, are probably worth taking off and saving for some other project at that point, as well as maybe the saddle and the nut for some other project. For parts alone, the instrument would be worth a $10 investment. But otherwise, if you're going to spend $40, $36 to $50 on this instrument, no, go buy another brand's instrument that's slightly better. Watch reviews here, watch reviews at obviously Got It Ukulele. Look on the internet a little more and you'll find a whole bunch of instruments in this same general price range that are just better. So I wouldn't make fun of you for buying this as the first instrument. I get it. But at the same time, there are better options out there. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great day and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.